All right. Okay. Anybody else? Hey, Nancy, I see you popped in. Cami, I know you can't talk. Cami is also, guys, going to be another speaker on Super Saturday tomorrow. Very excited to have her. I don't want to miss anybody. Is there anybody else that wanted to come off mute real quick? Okay. All right. So, welcome to your weekly onboarding. Um, every Friday at 10 a.m. I have to, now I'm getting my time zones, and I'll tell you why later, because in Arizona we don't change. So sometimes I'm looking at changing and I'm like, wait, make sure you say this right. So every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 11 Mountain, 12 Central, and 1 Eastern, we have our onboarding call. Okay, guys, so I want to make onboarding really simple. And I know that there's a handful of you here that have not been onboarded before, so we are going to start in the boards. But first, I did draw a card. This is card number 19 of the Ignite Your Light deck, and it says, Gratitude is the best way to elevate my well-being. And I don't know what you guys are going through. I do know that, we all have things going on, from small things, maybe of just being busy. Perhaps there's some, overwhelm in your life or something that might be going on that might be, causing you to be a little off balance or maybe knocked off the beam. And in order to get back on, gratitude is one of the best things that you can do to refocus your attention. So I'm going to read this card. Gratitude is my gift to myself. Appreciation is when I express the gift to others. When I choose to be grateful for what I have, I get more. I will remind myself that gratitude will create a positive energy in my life. I will remember that people are drawn to people that make them feel appreciated and special. Flip the switch from thinking about what's not right in my life or maybe the problem um, to living in a state of gratitude. Be a gratitude and appreciation magnet. So I love that card, and that card just reminds me, and I'm sure it reminds you, that we can flip the switch. We can come out of that place of challenge and problem and, all the ick that goes on into just being grateful. And I want you to recognize, guys, the difference in the feeling that you feel. And why am I spending a bit of time here? Why? Because it's so important that your energy is in a good feeling place. See, if we're not feeling good, we're least likely to reach out and want to share a business opportunity, or we're least likely to reach out and just even make new connections. So, if you want to elevate the way you feel almost just like that, then we're going to start claiming more gratitude, and you will see a big difference and shift in your life. So, okay, guys, um, I said we're going to do some breathing, but let's actually move on. We're at about 15 minutes past. So I go right into sharing my screen and we're going to go to boards. So when somebody first joins, I think, there's a good 2 week period where we're getting used to everything. So it's really important that one of the first things you do is you add a team member to the boards and you send that to them. Everybody can have one board for free, and then it's like $9.99 a month if they have other things that they already have in boards prior to coming here. But what I want to show you first is just a brief walk around the board. So you're just going to see that everything you need is labeled right here at the start. But I want to make special note that the weekly calendar is always here. It's also in the chat and in the Facebook group, and we try to be sure that we are um, updated weekly. Um, and this gives you, just so you guys see, um, the global calls that we are doing, the global onboarding calls. Oh, no wonder. Interesting. Okay. Um, and so anything of what's happening now and calendar is always right here at your fingertips. Okay, let's go back. Sorry, I've got to move the Zoom thing real quick here. Whoop. Okay. So let's go on up here to onboarding. All right, like I said, here are two of the different recordings. I would just say use this one, the 23rd, if you get somebody on, let's say you have someone join tomorrow after Super Saturday, send them this onboarding video to watch. All right, so let's start with the onboarding checklist. All right. So this checklist is really made for the person that is being onboarded as well as the person that's doing the onboarding. So you'll notice by the language. So it says here, and I'm just going to run through these fairly quickly, but obviously when somebody first joins, I am in the High Flyers team chat, Facebook team chat. Um, and I am in the Facebook group. So you'll want to make sure that you're either adding them to the groups or if you're somebody that's brand new, that you're in both those groups. That is where you're going to get really the up to the minute information to stay, in the know within the community. The next thing we do is we create a welcome graphic. Your sponsor will create that, and then they will post your picture with the welcome graphic in the team chat and the Facebook group. Very next thing we do is we schedule. So your person says yes, or you've said yes. Between you and your sponsor, you want to schedule a 15 to 30-minute call. And I'm going to share a little bit more around the onboarding conversation and why that's so important. And you'll notice we'll walk them through this checklist, through boards, and the onboarding conversation. And if they're building a business, we want to help them get to silver, which is 3 members within their first 2 weeks, and then on to gold and on to platinum. Once you've talked a little bit about the fast start bonus, you can put a check mark here. And I do want everybody to know there is a full compensation plan training at the bottom of the corporate video, which I'll show you in just a few minutes. All right, the next thing we do is we go back to boards and we just basically click on the start here. And we want to help that person get into action immediately with these 3 action steps that are within the start here. So I'm going to show you that also in just a moment. And then the very next thing, and I like to do this with you guys while we're on the phone here, is create, or while we're on the Zoom here, is to create a warm list of 20 to 30 people, which we'll do shortly. Okay, so pretty straightforward and simple from the checklist. Now I want to go into the onboarding conversation. All right. I had you guys each share your name, where you're from, um, and what you're most excited about. But when I'm coming on to, when I'm joining a network marketing company, it's really important to understand why am I doing this business and what is most important to me. In other words, what do I want to accomplish? What am I really here for? Because anybody that has been in network marketing, for any amount of time will tell you it's an industry that is so rewarding, but it also requires you to step out of your comfort zone in order to grow. And I would just go so far as to say that anytime you're doing something that is brand new to you, you're going to be out of your comfort zone. And it takes about a week or 2 weeks to get comfortable knowing where things are and, really feeling that kind of like, okay, I get what I'm doing now. So we want to make sure that we support you every step of the way, by helping you take action and so that you can gain clarity. So before diving into the details of the business, we want to connect to our prospect's heart. And this is really the portion to me that is so important because you want to really understand why they're doing the business. And here's a few questions that can get you to prompt them to open up a little bit more. Okay, so for me, when I'm working with someone, if somebody says, "Oh, I'm doing it for extra money," it's good that I asked, but I need to go deeper. Extra money for what? Oh, extra money so I could travel. Oh my gosh. I might say, Jeanette, where do you want to travel to? Who do you want to go with? What do you want to do when you get there? So we want to start getting people visualizing why they're doing this business and what's most important to them because, guys, this is what connects to their heart. And remember what I said just a few minutes ago about the fact that we can get out of our comfort zone. We can get into fear-based places, and we want to be able to remind ourselves why we started in the first place and what's most important to us, because there will be those moments where you hear no. There's going to be the moments where you're like, oh my gosh, did I fumble on my words? Or I forgot a step, something. It happens to every single one of us, and it's okay. It's just not a big deal. But when you're brand new, it can feel defeating. And we want to make sure that you feel really good about why you joined and also that you give yourself a little bit of grace. Okay, next thing we have to establish is going from our dreams and all the excitement and all the potential to what do we really want from our business? So I like to talk a little bit about the money. I want to know, what does somebody want to make in their next 30, 60, or 90 days? And maybe what's their bigger vision? So you'll see here, how much money would you like to make this worthwhile for you? Okay, first, 30, 60, or 90 days, what does success look like to you? What are your thoughts about building a team and ranking up? And then helping them establish their first income goal and how they're going to get there, or their first rank up goal and how they're going to get there. Okay. Next, what we do is we uncover someone's level of commitment. So I'm very, forthright with this. I want to know, how many hours a day are they wanting or willing to commit to for their new business? The minimum is going to be an hour. Okay. If we're really truly going to build a business, the minimum is 1 hour. Okay. What would you like your ideal business to look like on calendar? So what that means is, um, we need to be sure, guys, that our calendar reflects our working hours. The worst thing that I see is people working their business in the nooks and crannies of the day, but they're working it all day long, and then they're not present with family, their other jobs, whatever it might be. And I'll give you an example. Today, I woke up at 5 a.m., which is kind of normal for me, but I started working really, quickly after that. And why? Why did I do that? Because my grandkids are going to be here and I'm going to take the rest of the afternoon off at about 1 o'clock my time. So we can adjust our schedule to work for us. That's one of the things I truly love about this business and industry. But if we're really building a business, the hours aren't optional. So I let my calendar be my discipline. So in order to take the afternoon off for me right now, I had to get up a little bit earlier and work a little bit more. Or I could have chosen to maybe work a little bit more throughout the beginning of the week. That's just an example. Okay. So schedule in, and I'm going to give you my way of doing it. I schedule everything I want to do first on a weekly basis. Now, if I know I'm going to be going to a wedding at the end of March or something, then I put that in, obviously. But every Sunday at some point, I sit down with me, my cup of coffee, and God, and I'm like, all right, let's plan the week. Okay? And when I do that, guess what? I'm feeling more clarity. I allow my calendar to discipline me instead of me running willy-nilly, and then I'm working all day long in the nooks and crannies, like I said, and I never feel quite accomplished. So I hope this helps you guys get really clear with where we start at the beginning. So how does that feel? Does anybody got any questions, comments? How does that feel to you guys? I have to take a breath. Jean, how'd I do?
I'm not sure.
Oh, oh no, that's not good.
No, you're doing well, and each time you're doing well.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we are just all lucky to have you
Oh,
among us.
you're
You're
so sweet.
taking good care.
All right. Okay, guys. So any questions around that checklist? You just see how you're just gonna follow it, right? Whether you're brand new or whether you are supporting someone through it. When I'm supporting someone through it, I like us both to have the checklist and we just kind of go down, right? Okay.
I have a
So,
question.
yes.
Does because you explained I mean, I get up at the 5 o'clock hour too,
Yeah.
probably most productive. Does that make an effective like posting and doing your things, following up on 5 o'clock in the morning? Does that um, make a difference in talking to people?
Um, for me, I'm going to just tell you, I've always gotten up fairly early. I do start messaging fairly early. One thing I appreciate about Messenger, and some of you guys are probably like, yeah, Joan messages me on regular text early. But the truth is, in Messenger, you can message in the middle of the night. No one cares, right? You ever had it where you wake up laying there and you're like, might as well work? So,
Mhm.
but for me, guys, because my phone is nonstop, what I like to do is find the peace in the morning, and that's part of my routine. I am more productive, I'll just tell you, from 5, 6 a.m. to noon. Those 6 hours, I am the most productive. Who knows why?
Because you're fresh.
That's
You
right.
got some good sleep and you're not overwhelmed with the whatever happens in your day.
Exactly. Because you're fresh. And that is the God's honest truth. I'm so much more clear and fresh. And then by the time, 3, 4, 5 rolls around, it's not that I can't do some work. Of course I could, but I'm not as fresh. Okay. And I've even made a rule, and some of you know this, like I don't make any decisions after 3 o'clock, no matter what, for me, because I'm tired. I'm kind of cranky. And you know what I'm saying? I just know myself enough to know that, you know what, if it's a big decision, it's going to be a good idea tomorrow morning if it's a good idea today. And so that's just the way I operate. So these are just suggestions. You can work your business anytime. When I first started in the industry, guys, and I'll share this with you, I was, a single mom in my young 30s. It was just a few years ago. No, I'm just kidding. It was back in 2001, and many of you know now today I'm a grandma. And my son was like 6 or 7, I can't even remember at the time. And I'd worked my full-time corporate career at Nordstrom. I loved what I did, but guys, the commute was starting to kill me. And I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And as a single mom, although my son has a dad and all that, but my vision, what I wanted was I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And I was working this big corporate career that I loved, but my heart ached a bit because I'd get home to read stories, I'd skip pages because I was tired. I wanted freedom, and I was just bold enough. I'm going to tell you this. I was just bold enough to write it down in a journal, right? And I still do that today. So I'm really passionate about talking about this with you guys because I have to share with you that in my kind of subtlety, I did not believe it was possible to create the kind of business I created, which is probably why I created it, because I didn't think about it much after I wrote down what I wanted. Do you guys follow me? In other words, there was no resistant energy of like, think about when you want something so bad. I want it so bad. And doesn't it feel like it's taking forever? Or, geez, maybe God doesn't want this for me. Or, you know what? I'm never going to get it because it's so unrealistic. Mine seems so unrealistic to me because I was thinking in my humanness. You guys know what I mean? I was trying to think that I could decide or figure out the way God would do it. And guess what? I'm like, I live in a rural area, in the state of Washington. You got to take a ferry to the island that I live on. And unless I'm going to be a lady of the night or selling drugs, we're not making six figures staying at home. I say that jokingly. Jamie's probably like, my God, who is this woman? But I say it jokingly because obviously that wasn't what I was going to be doing. But I tell you this because, guys, anything can happen. And I want you to be bold enough to write out what you truly want and let it all go. Let the how go. Because some of you right now are just like, oh, you know what? I just want to do $100, $500. That's if I could make 1,000, that's stretching. No, write it down. Don't sell yourself short. And more than that, don't sell God short. If you've got a desire and you are somebody that will serve and help people, I'm going to tell you what, there's a lot of business for you out there. But we have to learn to invite. We have to learn to put ourselves out there and be of service. Okay? All right, I'm spitting now. So, how my story ends up is within a couple weeks, you guys, within a couple weeks, my best friend called me and said, Joni, I have this incredible opportunity I wanted to share with you. And, I started with this new skincare and spa company, and I know how much you love skincare and spa products, and you've been in the industry because I was already managing at Nordstrom in that sector. And she goes, I'd just love to have you try the products or check it out. And who knows? If you're interested, this could be something for you. And you guys, I shot so fast up the stairs at my house because I had been given a, a product from that company. And I won't go into that whole story. It'll take me another 10 minutes. But the truth was, I knew this was God working in my life. And I had to just take the next step in faith. He showed me enough to know. And look, 25 years later, I've made millions and millions of dollars. This company, this industry has entirely changed my life and allowed me to help other people do that as well. Okay. So it started with one girl. I mean, it all starts with one of us, right? One girl, one man, fearful, didn't know, like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what I'm doing, with no network marketing experience, and just stepping forward, doing the onboarding. Okay, there was onboarding at the company where I was, and I did every single thing that they told me to do for the first 90 days. When I was afraid to pick up the phone, I did it anyway. When they told me to get 20 or 30 names down on a paper, I did it anyway. And I keep saying anyway because I didn't want to. I was like writing with like shakiness. I'm like, what did I get myself into? Ah, right? We've all been there. Now, that might not be every one of your story. I was in my young 30s, give me a little break, but that's my story. And so I just want to share with you if I can get to where I am today or where I was in 90 days and even 6 months, so can you. But we tend to be our own worst enemies at times because we don't get out of the way. So I'm today, Jean and Deb. I have another community that we all work in too. I'm working myself on getting out of the way right now. Just get out of the damn way, Joan. Okay? Quit thinking about it and look back to God. All right. You guys ready? Now I'm going to take off my Baptist preacher hat, right? I feel like I went into a mode there. And we're going to go right back to the boards. So let me share. And here we go. All right. So every single thing that you need, guys, is in the boards. Now I'm going to come over here to the daily flow, and I'm just going to run through this quickly. And then what we're going to do is actually take some time and create a lead list. Okay. So first thing that we train here in the High Flyers team is that you're either going to be reaching out through direct reach outs, through in person, or online. Okay, so the goal would be to reach maybe 5, 10, or 20 people per day. Depends on what you want to do. And these are new touches designed to create curiosity. Now, I will do 5 just connection touches with new people that maybe were in my stories or online. Okay? So I want you guys to keep in mind that you don't need to do your reach outs completely based on business or curiosity. It can be just around connection that will lead to. If you've created a curiosity post, then you already are, if you've got somebody commenting or raising their hand in a reaction, they've already given you permission to talk about the business, most likely. Okay, so here's invite messages. These are just guides. I'm not suggesting you use these verbatim. However, if you did, they would work. But it just gives you an idea of how to chat with somebody or talk to somebody in a more small, concise way. So I want to give you guys the tip: less is more. And I do this through a text and voice message combination. Okay, so it might say, I might be like, for a direct reach out, like, hey, Lorianne, I know we haven't chatted for a while, and this may even come as a little out of the blue, but I partnered with a new company, and I really haven't seen anything like this in our channel. Maybe before I go public, I am positioning leaders and I wanted to see if you were open to hearing more. Okay, that's a way to reach out to somebody. Okay, it could be, hey, it's been a minute. Maybe it's not Happy New Year, maybe it's Happy Spring. It's been a minute. Listen, I partnered with a new company. And I feel like this is a unique opportunity that I thought might interest you. I've never really seen anything like it before in our channel. Are you open to taking a peek? See, what you guys should be wondering or what you should be saying to yourself is Joan didn't really tell them a lot. No, that's the idea. These create curiosity. So you want to tell maybe one little thing. I might say now to somebody, like, hey, Deb, it's Joan. It was great seeing you. And I know I just saw her last weekend, but I'm just making this up. So I might say something like, gosh, it was great seeing you and your husband a couple weeks ago. That was so fun at dinner. Hey, listen, I know that you just saw my Facebook post and you commented freedom. And I'm super excited to chat with you a little bit about this opportunity. I do want you to know that this is a company that just recently launched here in the US, so timing is huge right now. And I'm super excited. As you know, I've been in the industry a while, and we really have such a unique uh, proposition here because we're able to act as a startup. without us really being a startup. So if you're open to hearing more, let's pop on a call because I'd like to share a little bit more, but also find out about you and what you're up to. Okay, now that would have been a voice message and it would have been about 45 seconds. Do you guys see how that goes? All right, so let's say now that Deb says, yes, I am interested in hearing more. So I got her on the phone first because I knew her. If it's more of an acquaintance, I'll share the tool first, the video. Okay. So let's just go through and pretend that now Deb has raised her hand and said, I will watch the video. At this point, this is where so many people lose the control of the interaction. So when somebody says they're interested to watch the video, the very next thing I do is I say, oh, that's awesome, Deb. Will you have time to watch it now or a little later this afternoon? I assume urgency. You never want to say, let me know when you're done watching it. Okay. The minute we're in this kind of prospecting conversation and we say, let me know, we just gave our power away and you're going to start chasing the person. And this doesn't feel good to anybody new or anybody that's seasoned. I do not like chasing people. Okay. So we have to do our part to get an appointment or a chat. That's just the way I look at it. We're going to set up a time to chat. And the purpose of the chat is so I can find out more about the prospect. Okay. And what interests them and, what they love most about the video. Now, for somebody that I don't know very well, guys, I'm not getting on a phone with them. They're going to watch the video, and that shows me that they've put their part in. You know what I mean? They've shown an interest level that then will warrant me talking with them. But I'm not going to just start making, calls to people all day long and talk about the business. I want to let the video do the heavy lifting and then talk to them. Okay? So, you be able to watch it tonight or tomorrow is so important. And I want to leave you with this last thought here. You always want to leave an interaction with next steps. Never leave with giving your power away through the prospecting period. Okay, when you get them on the phone, I small talk 2 to 3 minutes. Hey, gosh, you know what? I'm so glad you agreed to chat. How's your day going? Gosh, catch me up on, you if I know him on your life, where you at, that kind of thing. All right. Here are the overviews. These are the business opportunities. There's a 12-minute corporate video. There's a 12-minute video that kind of gets down to brass tacks. And there's also a 2-minute sizzle. Now, I know you guys might, some people might have found other videos that you like. That's fine. Share whatever you feel good about. The reason why I choose the corporate video is it comes in all these languages, just in case. Here's obviously American. Here's a presentation, but look what's down below. Welcome from the company owner and the compensation plan. And it's broken into, there's your fast start. You can watch the video about fast start. If you come down here, there's presidential. So the company's done such a beautiful job to lay all this out for us. I love it. Okay. All right, let's go back. All right. And then this talks a little bit about leveraging chats, what to say during the presentation, leveraging chats, and then guiding to a decision. Now, I'll just say here that when you're beginning and when you're seasoned, I use chats all day long. And I'm not going to go into the chats right now, you guys, because there's a little mini training on how to leverage the three-way chat. Okay, so you can use this. But really what the chat does is it keeps the momentum going through the process, and it also helps the prospect hear more than just from one person, and they see that we have community and we're a team that helps each other. I don't ever want anybody to think this is a sign you up, see you later kind of business. It's not. It's a sign you up and let's partner together. But I will say this, you do your part, we do our part. We do the heavy lifting for you. Okay? But you have to do your part. All right. So, guys, let's take these last 10 minutes and let's get a really, really good lead list going. Now, I'm going to give you, I want you to write this down. This is just really simple. Where do you look to get these names? Okay, so we're going to set a timer for 5 minutes in just a minute. And I want you to get 20 to 30 names on your list. If you're somebody that is, just coming back to this, add another 20. Like someone like Karen or Jeanette, add another 20. Now, where are you going to get these people? I want you to think about acquaintances. Well, let's first start with friends, acquaintances, neighbors, kids' activities, your socializing type events, the gym, church, Facebook. Think how many Facebook friends you have, your cell phone, A to Z, out and about, people you've met around town, whatever. Okay. What's going to happen when we set the timer? Your job is just to get names on paper and don't stop till you get 20 to 30. Why do I set a timer? Who knows? Who knows? Why do I set the timer? I set the timer so you don't overthink it, because I literally have sat down myself and then started making a list, and I'm like, oh, you know what? Jeanette won't do it. No, Lorianne's in Mexico. You know what? Tanya, nah, she's not gonna be in. I start talking myself right out of it. So we're going to set the timer for 5 minutes, and you're going to just put your head down. And if a name comes to your head with those different prompts that I said, you just write down the name. I'm not saying you're going to call them. You may not, but you might. And the name may have came to you for a very, very good reason. Okay. So you guys ready? Who's ready? All right. On your mark. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Here we go, guys. Let's go. I want you to start making your list, and I'm going to get a little more iced tea. All right, about 30 more seconds. Okay, you guys, how did you do? How did you do? Good, good, good. Okay. So, if you haven't started on your lead list, now you've got a kickstart, right? And what my suggestion to be for the homework would be to go to the boards and, I mean, really not homework, but where you want to start in the boards is right here. Start here. Okay? You want to make sure that you fill out this step one so that you get our text messages and up to the minute information. You want to be sure that you're in the Facebook group and the chats. And you want to work on guides 1 through 4 within the next 24 hours um, that are found in the Facebook group. And then I want to make sure that I invite each and every one of you tomorrow to our Super Saturday. We have the business presentation that is going to kick us off at 9 a.m. Pacific, 10 Mountain, 11 Central, and 12 Eastern. Then we're going to go right into training. So we're going to have Travel Advantage uh, platform training. We're going to be hearing from Carly Meeks, which I'm super excited about. I think you guys are going to really appreciate Carly and just her whole training. Oh, 1 second, you guys. And we've got a comp plan training that we're going to be covering as well. And let me just make sure I've got everything. We've got Karen Frazier, Cami Winslow, Laura Nelms will each be sharing, and yeah, we're also going to be sharing a little bit more about a new DMO that we were creating as well. Okay. So lots and lots tomorrow to really keep the momentum going. And any questions here before we hang up? All right. If you are somebody that needs to get back to the person that invited you, make sure you guys connect, chat about what's next. And I just want to say to each and every one of you, I love you all. It's been fun, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys. Have a beautiful Friday. And nice to meet you, Jamie. Good to see you, Nancy, especially a few guys I haven't seen for a long, long time, and Robin and Tanya and everyone. All right, guys. Bye bye.